Welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. I'm Dan Thomas, joined by Stevie Nicol. Later on the show, Frank LeBoeuf and Alex Kirkland will be joining us as we'll be talking about all the big transfer rumours. But we'll kick things off with a couple of presidents. Let's start with President Trump, who made this statement about President Infantino and his future, saying FIFA would be making a terrible mistake if, for any reason, they even considered replacing President Gianni Infantino. He is fantastic, having just presided over the most successful World Cup by 4 times ever presented. If he is gone, it will never be a success or profitable again. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. Let's welcome in, shall we? Oh man, Gab Marcotti. Gab, is this a help or a hindrance?
Hey, to be honest, I don't think this moves the needle one bit. I think the reality is that the FIFA member nations, they will vote based on whether the money keeps flowing or not. And the money will keep flowing whether Gianni Infantino is president of FIFA or not. It's as simple as that. They don't need to, they won't have a World Cup as successful until they have another one in the US from a purely revenue perspective. That has nothing to do with Gianni Infantino. Beyond that, I think the people who like Donald Trump and respect what he says are likely aligned with Infantino anyway, and the people who dislike him will probably dislike Infantino even more. So I don't think this moves the needle at all for Gianni Infantino. But it's nice to have a friend, nice to have somebody important who rates your work.
Gab, you've been there. You've seen pretty much everything in football during your years reporting on this. What does your gut say about how this is all going to end?
It changes by the hour. I don't think you need an up-to-date, an hour-by-hour account of this. The latest news that the Times, it's going to be in the paper tomorrow here in London, reporting that Gianni Infantino to secure South America's support, which many of us thought was a given. It's only 10 votes, but obviously important countries, like football-wise anyway, like Brazil and Argentina, that to secure their support, to consolidate their support, he was ready to kind of push through recommend the idea of a 64-team World Cup, which of course has been proposed by Alejandro Dominguez, the head of CONMEBOL, who's from Paraguay. The funny thing with that one, though, is that it really remains to be seen whether this actually makes more money for FIFA, because obviously you would then have to split the World Cup pot 64 ways, and the added games that you're adding, you're only adding 20 games, and probably many of them not really that appealing. But also there's opposition from inside South America. Several South American countries saying, wait a minute, South American or qualifying for the World Cup in South America, this is a really big deal to us. Culturally, every kind of 3-4 weeks we go and we play each other. We've been doing this for years. This is really important, and obviously 64-team World Cup, that would all but nullify the value and importance of South American qualifying, and the economic value as well, because for some of these countries it's a big money spinner. So he's got to be careful, because if he pushes this one too much, he might lose support from some of those larger, let's say, South American countries.
When will we be able to stop talking about this, Gab?
I think not for a while. Worst case scenario, Dan, we'll stop talking about this in March when they have the FIFA elections.
Right.
That's the worst case scenario. It's possible that if Infantino doesn't feel he has enough support that he can win an election, it's possible he may resign. Or if he feels that the threat from UEFA, the Asian Football Confederation, and CONCACAF is so large that they're serious about not participating in FIFA competitions, that he may have a rethink. But this is just speculation here. I think we're going to get a sense later this month. UEFA are having their big kickoff in Monaco around the draw for the Champions League and whatnot. I think we're going to find out more then about kind of what their plans are to push us forward. There's been talk of legal action. There's been talk of CAS. There's been all sorts of threats and things out there. And then I think we'll get a better idea the following month in September. It is the first FIFA competition after the World Cup, the Women's Under-20 World Cup, set to take place in Poland. And I think we're going to see whether, these three confederations are serious about their threat not to send teams to participate in it. And at that point, you would assume they would postpone the Under-20 World Cup. And I think at that point, Infantino would be in serious trouble, if it comes to that.
Infantino, tick. Ferran Torres, tick. Where's he going to go? Will it be PSG? Will he stay at Barcelona? It's been the big talking point, hasn't it, over the last couple of weeks. We still haven't really got an answer as we welcome in Frank Leboeuf and Alex Kirkland. But there has been movement today, Alex.
Yeah, we knew about this PSG interest. We know that Ferran is very open or even wants to go to PSG. But now a first offer from PSG to Barca rejected by Barcelona. We understand it's around 40 million euros, which doesn't sound like a lot for a player who just scored the winning goal in a World Cup final. I think it's understandable that Barca have rejected that opening offer. I don't think it ends there. I think this is a process. I think that they'll find in the end some sort of common ground because, like I say, bottom line is the player wants to go, and Barca, I think, are relatively happy for that to happen if they can find a deal that works. So I expect PSG to come back in with an increased offer, and let's see, what kind of figure will it be? 50, a bit more, a bit less, that Barca are up to willing to accept.
So obviously Barcelona's big plan, Alex, is that Ferran Torres goes, Julian Alvarez comes in, bish bash bosh, we're all sorted, we're going to win the league again. What happens if it doesn't work? What happens if Ferran Torres goes, but Atleti stick to their word and don't let Julian Alvarez make that move to Barca?
Yeah, it's a big question and it's a big risk that Barca would be taking because La Liga kicks off for Barcelona in 2 weeks' time. They, of course, have a delayed start to the league season. Other teams start this weekend. Barcelona don't. But right now, with Robert Lewandowski already having moved to MLS, if Ferran Torres does go to PSG, Barcelona don't have a recognised centre-forward in the squad. They've got some youngsters who've impressed in pre-season, but they've got to do something. They've got to do something. Can't start the season without a first-choice centre-forward. As you say, Julian is plan A. Julian is currently back in training with Atletico Madrid. I think he's trained 2 days now with Atletico. It's a bit awkward there, obviously, because Julian came out during the World Cup and said, I want to go. I want to fulfill my dream. Atletico sticking to their guns. So annoyed with Barca for the way they've gone about this pursuit. They're saying, we won't do business with Barcelona. Look, there's a long way to go to the end of the transfer window. But yeah, right now, we simply don't know what Barcelona's plan B might be if they cannot get Julian.
So having said all that, why sell to PSG? Why bother? Why not just keep Ferran Torres as your backup plan? Tough. You've got a year left on your contract. You'll see it through. And then at the end of it, then you can leave. That's you, Alex.
I mean, if the player wants to go, ultimately, I think if Ferran has told them that he wants to go, then you accept it and you probably think, OK, yeah, like you say, contract is where it is, not a bad deal, get some money in and bring in a player who ultimately wants to be at the club. I think that's the bottom line. I think Ferran Torres has made it pretty clear. We've heard it from him in this round of media interviews he's been doing over the last few weeks over there in the States that he's very open to leaving. I think Barca have pretty much accepted that. But like I say, yeah, for sure, it does put them in a pretty tricky position with not long to go at all until the season starts.
I don't get it, Stevie, at all.
I think the reason I can somewhat get it is Barcelona want money, and for a guy with a year left, if they get 50 million, is he such an upgrade on trying Adeyemi or Gordon or Rafinha as a false nine? Is Ferran Torres so much better than any of those three in that position? I'm not sure he really is. Is he slightly better? Possibly, depending on how Rafinha did. But then you're going to get 50 mil for a team that needs money. So from that point of view, I can understand it. Mm-hmm. But from a coach's point of view, I don't like it.
Frank?
Yeah, I'm with Stevie. But the problem is Ferran Torres made too much noises after the World Cup, talking to everybody, saying that he wanted to go or he wanted Barcelona to give him what he wanted because he scored a goal during the World Cup final, so he deserved all the credit, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, we all know that what matters is consistency. And Ferran Torres lacked of consistency even last season. So not too many clubs wants to put too much money on him because they know what they can expect from him. That's, I think, very nice that Paris Saint-Germain is interesting about him and wants to give him a chance. But I would be Ferran Torres. You have 1 year contract. Yes, it's a risk because you can get injured, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, if you don't get injured, you're going to be on the free transfer. You're going to get lots of money. Everybody's going to chase for you because you're worth that transfer, because nobody's going to have to pay any fee. So be patient, maybe shut up a little bit and go next year. And I think it would be good for everybody because, well, not for Julian Alvarez, of course, because he will have to stay for Atletico. But for Barcelona, for Ferran Torres, that would be good for him to stay.
Where's Rodri going to be, Alex, at the start of the season?
We think he's going to be at Barcelona. And of course, the big thing was him giving the okay to Barca over Real Madrid. Now, the next step is getting that deal done with City. We think that Barca are trying to kind of lowball them in terms of an offer. Again, I think a deal is there to be done because basically, once again, like I said with Ferran, it comes down to Rodri and what he wants. He wants to come back to Spain and he has chosen Barcelona. You know, he's basically the Real Madrid option, we understand, is gone now. It's Barca or nothing. So I think that deal gets done, but it's about what sort of offer, again, that City are willing to accept. The opening bid from Barca, we understand, something like 45 million euros wasn't enough. I think it happens, but I think getting Rodri in is going to be such a boost for Barca, especially getting one over Real Madrid. So yeah, I think it happens, but it'll just come down to the clubs haggling over that fee.
If you're Manchester City, we discussed this before, Frank, how much you fight to keep him?
That's for me? Well,
yeah,
that's for...
Yeah, sorry, I said Frank. Or maybe I didn't.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you said Frank. I mean, that's a big blow for Manchester City. I'm sorry. We are talking about the best midfielder in the world, well, defensive midfielder, and one of the best leader in the world of football, and he proved it with Manchester City and Spain lately, and for so many years, even before his injury, he came back. He had some hard time, but he came back at his best. So that's a big blow for Manchester City. They have to let him go because he decided to go. But there is a market, and for the best midfield player in the world, you have to have a good price. So if Barcelona wants him, they will have to pay. But we all know that Barcelona have no money. So what's going to happen to Rodri? That would be a shame if the guy has no club before the beginning of the season and doesn't want to play for Manchester City. So hopefully they're going to find something. But if a player wants to go, they have to let him go. There is no other choices.
It seems my boy's a Man City fan. He was saying it seems about the right time to let Rodri go.
Yeah, I think so. If they get 50 million for him, I mean, surely they can't be. Considering what they bought him for, and they get 50 million now after the career he's had with them and what he's given them. And I also think that probably Man City, I'm pretty sure, would have been a little surprised at how he did perform in the World Cup, considering the last 18 months since his injury. He's had to have another operation on his back. So, you know, when you get to the stage that he's at, you know, in some eyes it's not that old, but when you've got a 3 in front of your name, things start to go physically. And his knee's gone, he's getting his back done now, you know, things start to go wrong. And so, if you can get 50 million for him, and you know he wants to go, I actually don't have a problem with it. But I will say, if for some reason this doesn't work, if there was one person I think is going to turn around and go, you know what, it didn't work out, I've got another 12 months, he's going to do his best for City.
Yeah, you can't imagine him sitting on the bench and sulking.
He's not going to be doing a Julian Alves or a...
Yeah, it won't be like an Isaac we saw last season.
Or Isaac. No, it's going to be,
He's not a striker.
yeah.
So yeah.
Meanwhile, Endrick is staying at Real Madrid, Alex, that's right?
We think so. It's not definitive, Dan. That's certainly his preference. He's expressed that, and we think the club have accepted that as well. There are sort of personal factors. His partner is due to have a baby in October, and we think they want to do that here in Madrid rather than moving. It's a little bit surprising, I think, in terms of this stage of his career, because we saw him go out on loan to Lyon last season, second half of last season, do really well. And we thought that the battle this season was between Endrick and Gonzalo Garcia to be sort of back up to Mbappe. Gonzalo Garcia leaves to Fulham. It looks like Endrick's going to be the guy. But no, Madrid bring in Carlos Espí, one of the best young forwards in Spanish football last season from Levante. So not entirely sure where Endrick's minutes are going to come. The minutes he really needs, I think, at this stage of his development. If you've got Mbappe starting almost every game and Espí coming off the bench, of course, he can also play out wide on the right. That may be an option, but there's competition there with Diamande coming in as well. So I understand it, but I do think it raises a big question about, like I say, how much is he going to play? Is he going to get the minutes that he needs? It may be a situation that is reassessed come January, in the January transfer window. But right now, like I say, not 100% definitive, we don't think. But yes, it looks like he's staying for now.
Frank?
Yeah, I have a question for Endrick. Why do you want to stay? Yeah. Don't you want to play football? I mean, are you happy to stay on the bench, to be maybe the third choice in any positioning? So I don't understand that kind of thinking. Maybe he wants to go. I don't know if he wants to stay or if it's his decisions to stay. But really, I will push to go away. Unless the coach says, you have big chance to play, you will play 25, 30 games a season, don't worry about that, I can ensure you're going to play that, I don't stay. I want to play football. I'm very young, I want to enjoy my life, I want to enjoy, I earn money, but there is no room for me right now at Real Madrid. That's a statement. And I don't see that coming right now. So why don't you go somewhere else, improve everything and come back maybe one day when you have a room and you're full of confidence. But otherwise, I don't see the point.
Yeah, I'm with Frank. I don't get it. All the reasons why he went on loan, at the very best, he's back where he started then for the reasons he went on loan. So it makes no sense to me at all either. If he wants to play, which I'm sure he does, unless Mourinho's had a word in his ear, but if he's rational and he sits down and looks at it, the front three's done.
Yeah.
So where's he going? Plus, as Alex said, they brought in the up and coming young player in Spain as well. So yeah, I don't get his thinking.
Good man, Alex. Weekend, of course, opens in La Liga this weekend. Where are you going? Which match?
Well, as you know, Dan, no Madrid, no Barca, no Atleti at the weekend. I will be at Atletico Madrid, but that's next Wednesday. That's my first game in person.
Oh, I think Sid's going to a game, though. He's a proper reporter, isn't he?
Of course.
Yeah, much appreciated. Alex will be, though, at Espanyol against Real Madrid, as he mentioned. Both Real Madrid and Barca starting later. It will be Madrid against Espanyol on the Saturday, Elche against Barcelona on the Sunday. These games live on ESPN+. Meanwhile, Sid Lowe will be at Sevilla against Rayo Vallecano, and that is the second game on Saturday with Alaves against Getafe kicking off the league. And as Alex mentioned, he'll be in the Spanish capital for Atletico Madrid against Malaga. That is next Wednesday. After the 3-2 defeat for Liverpool against Monaco, Iraola came out and said, I think we played really good in the first half, especially the first 30 minutes, but right now probably we don't have much more in terms of the level required to play like this. Frank's still with us, Stevie as well. Stevie, your reaction to that?
Normal.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's very difficult to explain to somebody who's not gone through a pre-season at that level the difference that 2 weeks makes to you. Because it's basically 2 weeks before the first game. And I can still remember playing a game 2 weeks before the season started, and after the game you're thinking, I'm never going to be ready.
Right.
You're just so tired, and I couldn't reach that, and then I got outrun, and all these things are going through your head. But then, even though you're not bang at it, 2 weeks later, probably takes you another week and a half, 2 weeks to be fully. It's amazing how the difference in your body, your legs, your lungs, everything can change so quickly in that 2 weeks. So right now, I'm not that bothered about what he said.
Frank?
Yeah, I'm with Stevie. It's crazy how in maybe 2 weeks you can improve and be ready for the beginning of the Premier League. And that's, if it's what he's talking about, I agree with him. But the first time I read that, it was like, we don't have the level for, in many ways, to play like that. So I was questioning myself, say, is he only talking about the energy or he's talking about something else? Hopefully he's only talking about the energy, because that's something you can improve. If you think that your team doesn't have the level of playing that way, that's another thing to think about. And it's kind of a statement that I don't really like, because I think he has a team for that. But I'm pretty sure he meant talking about the energy.
Frank, where are Liverpool finishing this season?
Again, as we all agreed, Arsenal is the favourites, are the favourites, and after, it's all question marks about 6-7 teams, like the two Manchesters, Liverpool, of course, Newcastle, Chelsea, Aston Villa, maybe, and maybe I forgot another team. But what about Brighton? We don't know. But there is too many question marks.
Names, all of
there
them.
are too many question marks. Yeah, whatever. But there are too many question marks in that Premier League. We had two bad seasons last seasons where when Liverpool and Arsenal won, even the title wasn't given easily because they kind of drop a little bit at the end of the season, and the rest didn't follow. So I want to see something interesting. I want to see a chase. I want a race, because that's maybe the only championship that we can see, a real race with 5-6 clubs, and we are lacking of that. We are missing that a lot, and I want to see Liverpool chasing Arsenal, and they're capable of doing that. It's going to be hard. It's about confidence, but if they start the season pretty well, I think they can annoy the Gunners.
Where are Liverpool going to finish this season, Frank?
Sorry?
Where are Liverpool going to finish this season?
I think City would be before them. I give a chance. I don't know if I have to give a chance to the Blues, because
Don't mention Brighton.
I like I think fourth. Well, I mentioned Brighton because fourth.
Fourth? Where have you got them?
I would take fourth right now. I'd snap your hands off.
You would take fourth, but that's different to where you think they're going to finish.
Well, they finished fifth last year, right?
Thank you.
And they've lost two starters.
You see?
They've lost Mo Salah and Robertson.
Okay.
And they haven't replaced them. Now, as poor as, or as under par as both were.
They've gained Isak.
Okay.
And Robertson didn't play that much. Robertson didn't
well,
play that much last season anyway, did he?
Well, he played more than he was supposed to because of Kerkez.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't. Right now, with what Liverpool have, top six.
You've got Iraola that's come in as well. You know.
I'm going to say fifth or sixth.
Fifth or sixth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing you can tell me to convince me that they're going to be better this season than they were last season with what they have right now.
How many Community Shields did you play in? Do you remember?
I think I played in 3.
Did you win anything?
I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
No.
No.
Well, it wasn't that important.
It wasn't a big deal. But it is a big deal this weekend. You know why? Because it's live on ESPN. You can watch Manchester City against Arsenal. Go on, Frank. Cheer away. Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Be sure to check out the curtain raiser for the start of the new season. The winner of the Premier League against the winner of the FA Cup. Now, it's a quiet day today, which is good because I wanted to talk to both you boys about this, because at the moment on Netflix, there's a Vinnie Jones documentary. And if you haven't seen it, and if you don't know who Vinnie Jones is, this is going back to the 80s and talking about how he was like the hard man of football, the bad tackles that went in, the imitation tactics that went with it. And the reason I want to talk to you both about it, particularly Stevie, is that Wimbledon and Vinnie Jones' biggest claim was beating your boys in the FA Cup final.
Yep.
We've talked about this before, and you've talked about all this intimidation is just nonsense. But there's got to be a part of it, Stevie, going into a match like that where you know their aim is to kick you off the park, that gets into your head a bit.
Well, see, here's the problem. Here's why a certain level of player doesn't get intimidated by somebody like Vinnie.
Right.
Because they can see it coming.
Yeah.
It's players...
Look, this is the FA Cup final. Right. This has been the first 2 seconds where Jones called it that he was going to do this to McMahon. Nowadays, it's a red card straight off the bat.
Yeah. Right. You see how McMahon rode that challenge, though?
Right.
So basically, proper footballers understand that, and so you see that challenge there. You see how McMahon rode it. So before he gets hit, he knows it's coming, and he's already off the ground. He's got none of his body's touching the ground. That's where the trouble starts when you start breaking ankles, breaking legs, all that kind of stuff. So McMahon's rode that challenge. And Vinnie also knows now he can't do that again because he's already done it. Because he would do it, and people like Vinnie would do it every single game at least once. And if they didn't get booked and got away with it like that, they were like, okay, I need to watch, particularly in a cup final. So the problem is the lower you go down in the level of quality and the level of football brain is when all the trouble starts because players don't see it. You know, you'll hear us talking about, well, if you stand off this guy and let him play, then he'll hurt you. But when you don't stand off him, he can't hurt you. And that's a different level of player. You know, people like Zidane, I'm talking about the best. People like Jan Moby that I played with. It didn't matter how much or short a time they had on the ball or little space, they still saw the pass quick enough and they still got the pass off before anybody would get near them. So when Vinny's going around doing that, because you could, as you said, he never even got booked, you were allowed to do that then. But the better players, like you see how McMahon rides the challenge. The better players know it's coming. And it's not that you can get out the way completely, but you can get out the way enough that you don't get hurt. And McMahon never got hurt. He got up and played on.
So mentally, does that change things at all? As you say, you know these tackles are going to come. You have to change your style of play at all?
No, well, Vinny's the only one that has to change there.
Right.
That's the thing. So when Vinny's trying to do you,
yes,
he's got to make sure that he doesn't get sent off and it actually hurts you so that it actually does affect the way you play the rest of the game. But a proper player like McMahon, he now realises that Vinny can't do that again. Because if Vinny does that again, he probably would have got sent off. As I said, you always got one.
So if it wasn't intimidation, how did they beat you?
Well, they beat us because we actually scored. We went 1 up, and the referee called it back because he didn't play advantage. They had one free kick in 90 minutes, and they scored with a header. And we went at our best and didn't really create too much. And at that time, Wimbledon was sitting 6th in the First Division, which is now the Premier League. So it wasn't like this was a bunch of farmers from down the road who were thrown together and played against us. They were sitting 6th in the old First Division, which is now the Premier League. So they weren't any mugs. And Vinny, in terms of being a football player, what he did a fantastic job for Wimbledon and all the teams he played for because he was wholehearted, he laid into people, he put people off, and he would win the ball back and give it to others to go and play.
I'm friendly with Vinny, and I learned how to know him better. I played the first game with Chelsea against Wimbledon at home, and we lost 4-2. And I remember, him talking a lot. I remember being on the touch on the goal line, trying to save the goal, and somebody came and instead of taking the ball, headbutt me, and I had a bump like that, and they scored the goal. And Vinny came to me and say, "Welcome to England, Frankie," or maybe he said Frenchie. I don't know what he said, but I started to like him because I followed him, and as Stevie said, you could see him coming. You could anticipate, and that wasn't really an issue. He was trying to intimidate you, and I remember like maybe 7 months after we played semi-final of the FA Cup at Highbury, and he played in the middle. He couldn't touch the ball. And he said after his career, he said, that was the worst game ever. I was running after Zola, Di Matteo. We knew him. We learned how to deal with those players. So it was a good pitch. Can you imagine when it's a bad pitch, and we saw against Manchester United, the bad pitch, those players are unplayable because they destroy everything. But as part of their game, you have to respect that. That's their strength, and I respect to those players because that was a lot at that time. Of course, nowadays, that guy doesn't play 5 minutes. He doesn't even play 2 minutes like we saw in the FA Cup final. But that was his game. It was planned. It was part of the tactic. It was hard to cope, but yeah, you could see him coming. You could jump, not keep your feet on the ground to make sure that if he tackles you, touching you, you fly, but you're not injured, and that would be fine. So that was hard, but the guy is funny. He's like in his movies. He's really funny. He was absolutely crazy, but as a crazy gang. And I played with Dennis Wise, who played with him and won that FA Cup against Stevie. They were mad people. They were bad people down the street. They were bad people on the field. They were just bad people. But at the end of the day, when you know him better, you respect them because they're good guys at the end of the day.
There's not a player that played with any team with any who didn't love him. Because he got everybody going. Right. Constantly. Not just in games, but in training. And he was the guy that got everybody going and wound everybody up.
Yeah.
He was the one that was doing all the shouting and all the talking.
Now, what's interesting, obviously the documentary focused on Jones, but he wasn't an anomaly. This was very much football back in the day.
There was a few of them.
And what's really interesting is when you speak, we were speaking to Santi when we were in New York, to Jürgen Klinsmann as well, talking about the greatest of all time. And obviously Messi and Ronaldo are in that conversation, but they're saying, but it's a different sport. It's different now compared to Maradona and Pele, what they had to face, the challenges that they had to face. And it is true, and it's completely, it is black and white.
Yeah. You know, there was an art and a respectability about kicking people back then. As daft as that may sound, there was a way to do it professionally. And it was accepted. To the point where if you actually were on the end of it and got caught, you understood that it was your fault for putting yourself in that position.
Wait. Explain that to me.
Well, so if there's a 50-50 ball, the way to do it is you look as though it's going to be 50-50, and just as you get in there, you pause for a second and let them get there first. And then you lift your boot up,
right,
and then you get them.
Which is a red card now.
Which is a red card now, because you've got...
Yeah, VAR.
Back then, that was accepted behaviour. And as I said, if you were on the other side of that and got done, you understood that a lot of the blame was on you for letting yourself get done and putting yourself in the position to get done. That was professionally accepted. And it was your fault for getting done, not the other guy for doing you.
Frank?
That's the mentality.
That's nuts, Frank.
That's the mentality.
Now that's mad, but I remember, and you talked about Jürgen Klinsmann, and I played against him when he was in Monaco against Strasbourg, and I knew what to do with him. And the first 10 seconds of the game, I came and I tackled him. And I say, it's going to be like that for 90 minutes, be ready. I would have played against Mbappe right now, or Messi. I knew how to do it with our football. I knew that nowadays you cannot do that, of course, and it's better. It's better. He protects players and everything. I remember Maradona breaking his leg with I think it was his name is Goicoechea, I think something like that, when the guy tackled him from behind. Spain. That was awful. We saw Pele getting injured in '66, not winning in third World Cup because of an injury. Those guys weren't protected. It's why for me they are the GOATs of football, because they had to be nasty as well. I remember playing with Zidane. I can tell you, you play with Zidane or you play against Cantona, you can come to him. They're ready for you. They're going to elbow you. Play against Alan Shearer. My nose, remember that. Yes. That's what it is. That was part of the game. And we enjoyed it because that was a real fight. I remember David Batty and Dennis Wise, Chelsea, Newcastle. They ended up in blood, kicking each other, fighting, and finishing the game and hugging each other. That was English football. That's why I love the English football. I wasn't ready for that. I had to learn. But the only games that I was watching was the FA Cup final. So I saw everything, Stevie, blah, blah, blah. They were amazing people. They were warriors. They were fighters. It's why I love the English football, because that was insanely interesting and so fast. So it changed, and maybe for the best, for the players, for their health. But in terms of suspense, in terms of physical aspect of the game, we lost almost everything.
I played with a guy called Graham Souness, who was one of the greatest players, who was one of the nastiest, a guy that nobody wanted anything to do with because of his reputation, but everybody respected him big time.
Right.
And I didn't think there was anybody that I'd rather not face than him, until I heard them. I can't remember exactly what it was on, but he was talking about an Argentinian called Daniel Passarella, centre-back. And he went, I was having nothing to do with him.
Really?
And I thought, wow, how hard and nasty was this guy if Graham didn't want anything to do with him.
You never got sent off though, Stevie, yeah?
Nope.
So have we got, what challenge do we have here? I think we got a photo of you back in the day, Stevie, making a challenge. Let's take a look at who this is. Yeah, this is against.
There you go.
Look at the face.
Take that.
It was coloured. I don't know why they put that in black and white.
Yeah.
That's another one.
Yeah, the first one's classic.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I described.
That's exactly what you were saying. Yeah.
You get there just after the guy that you're going up against. Because you don't... See, here's the thing, particularly when you played in Europe then. So that challenge, the first one you showed there, I'm saying is a classic.
Yes.
Excuse me. I guarantee that's a European game. And so you had the mentality. You didn't... See, when you're playing in the domestic league, if you're playing against Vinnie, you know what Vinnie's going to be trying to do, and you know what he does. And,
yes.
You know, Frank knows he's going to have to look out for Shearer's elbows. So you know what's in front of you. So when you're going for a challenge, as you're running, you're figuring out, who is it?
Yeah.
Where are you? Can you do them? Can you not? Are you going to get away with it? When you're in Europe, you don't know who you're playing against. And so you can't take a chance. So I had no idea what that guy was going to do. But I'd already decided,
on top of it,
and so that was it.
The refereeing was different. So English club weren't ready. On top of it, they were good, but the referee were stricter in the rest of Europe. So if you played against Juventus, like we saw the picture, and you had a French ref, on a tackle like that, a ref could have given you a red card. Where in England, they will play on. You know, you play the ball, unlucky.
And the problem again with that is that the game's going so fast when you're on the field.
It was against Spartak Moscow, by the way. There you go. Classic, you're right, yeah.
Yeah, I remember it. The game's going so fast on the field that, you know, we would sit here and go, well, you need to know that the referee's different, and you need to know that it's not a usual referee. But that's easier said than done. So in the heat of the moment, a situation arises where, unless I do what I'm going to do, I might get done. Mm-hmm. You really don't have time to go, well, I need to think twice about this because the referee's from France, or, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I remember specifically, I actually remember that. That was at Anfield.
Right.
And I remember after it happened, I thought, oh, what did I...
Right.
But it was too late.
But you got away with it?
I got away with it.
Yeah.
This Stevie, did you injure a player? Because I played 17 years and I never injured anybody. So did you?
Not with a bad tackle. Listen, that guy, I remember the guy getting up and let's just say he had a bit of a limp.
Okay.
And that affected him for the rest of the game. But I never did that to anybody and hurt them badly.
Well, and you kind of explained this, I suppose, a little bit. What struck me watching the Jones documentary and watching clips on YouTube of 80s football, how did everybody not get injured all the time? Because these tackles were horrible, yet it seems that the instinct was to get up and get on with it, and it seemed to work.
Well, you just totally run it off. I mean, that was it. You know, Ronnie was
the 80s parenting.
You got to Ronnie, go, Ronnie, this isn't to go, hey, you run it off, son.
Yeah.
Go away.
Frank, did you injure anyone? You said you didn't know. We saw a challenge here from you on Andrew Cole. Yeah. Oh, a little double swipe.
He got out the road a bit.
I touched the ball, so that was okay, you know.
He saw it coming.
It's funny. He saw me coming, but yeah, I played the ball. I tried to intimate him. That's for sure. But I wanted him to make sure that he knew that I was here, and I was fine with that, you know, the tackle. But also you have a Beckham Sheriff over here.
Yes.
Over here, it's always he was always around, but. Yeah, that was okay because I always tried to play the ball. I was sometimes intense, but on purpose to make sure that the striker knew I was ready for the fight. But never try because I respected too much people, football players on top of everybody, and you don't want to injure anybody. It's why I'm fighting for that story that we talked last week about somebody being injured in Brazil, and you should be banned for the time that guys come back. But I always try to make sure that my tackle was hard, but not terrible in a way that you were going to break a leg or injure somebody.
It's interesting you said, did you ever hurt anybody ever? See, here was the thing you particularly when you were playing in friendlies or bounce games or anything, you'll probably have heard people saying, make sure you challenge the way you normally would in a game. You know, when you
Yes.
turned around and said, well, how did people not get injured?
Yeah.
And there's absolutely no way to explain that to anybody, because we don't know either. And I once challenged a guy called Tom Sundby. I was playing for Scotland against Norway, and Tom never played again. He did his knee on the challenge. And 100%, it was just a challenge.
Okay.
It wasn't one of those...
It wasn't malicious.
No, not malicious. It was just two guys went straight and smashed into each other, and unfortunately, Tom never played again. And so how do you figure out how that happens to him, but then a challenge that you just showed, the guy just has a limp for a bit.
Yeah. Frank, it's interesting, just off point slightly, we saw you there with Andrew Cole and arguing, and the referees in the middle of it. Naden brings this up, and he's saying what frustrated him as a player was when the referees were pally with like the big players. Like, you know, it'd be Bex, it would be Giggsy, it would be this sort of thing, that sort of conversation, when you were just very much felt secondary from a man who was supposed to be objective. How did you deal with that? Because you must have seen it. Like, that Manchester United team was so famous, kind of the darlings of England at one time or another, and here you are, a Frenchman coming in.
Yeah, that was hard. That's a hard part of the game that we had to suffer from, and especially when you are from abroad and you come and you play against the captain of England and you play against famous players from England, you know that it's a lose-lose situation. So you have to be perfect. You do your tackle, you shut up. If you take a yellow card, you don't say anything, you don't respond to anybody. But you feel it unfair. And it's what happened with me and Alan Shearer when he broke my nose twice, and the ref said play on, and I was bleeding, and I said, how can you say that? You know, that's insane. You know, I don't bleed, I don't lose blood on my arm. You know, that's somebody kicked me, but that's what it is, and especially at the time, I remember Tony Adams, with all due respect, you know, the guy knew that he was the captain of England, and he was pushing Mark Hughes or whoever, Gianluca Vialli, control with his chest, and the referee was saying, play on. And there is nothing you can do about that. There is nothing much you can do about that. You know you're going to be punished as soon as you do something like them. So you try to be smarter in a way than the ref. But it happened to me that I had bad words with referee. Yeah. I said one time to a referee to go home. I said, please go home. We're gonna deal better without you. You're putting a mess in the middle of things. Mr. Leboeuf, shut up. I said, I'm not shutting up. You're doing stupid things. You're whistling for nothing. Go home. We're gonna do better. I got a yellow card, of course.
But see, when all that stuff goes on, there's all kinds of professional things that kick off from that. So you've got Beckham, all pally-pally with the referee, and the referee... So what you do is, as soon as you see that, you see the referee giving it pally-pally, you're straight over to him going, hey, by the way, well, busy mates with him, are you? I hope you're not going to turn that on us. So then what you're doing is, next time one of your players makes a challenge, you're putting pressure on him to not book you or give a foul against you. So there's all kinds of games going on from the first minute to the last minute.
Very good, boys. Thank you very much for indulging me. I suppose we were talking about Vinnie Jones. We have to talk about who had the best Hollywood career, and it's probably Jones, isn't it, over Leboeuf? What's this one, Frank?
That's a famous play. That's better. I prefer my picture. Oh, Christophe. Yeah, that was a play called Boing Boing. It was being played like 20 years in Paris, and I had a chance to play that one. I enjoy myself. Oh, my lovely wife. Thank you very much.
These are very strange pictures we've chosen here.
Job was away, wasn't it?
Very strange. There you go. Lockstock. Lockstock's very good. Did you enjoy Lockstock?
Yeah, it was good.
Good movie. Good movie. And I'm sure Frank's plays are great.
Very good movie.
Yes, all right. Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Stevie's here, as is Frank Leboeuf. Stevie, will Arteta need to play more on the front foot this season so he doesn't discourage his attacking players and they don't see his defence-minded tactics as being stale?
Listen, I think we'd all love for Arsenal to open up a bit more, but I somehow don't suggest. I don't see how they're going to change an awful lot the way they play.
They were quite open in the first half of the season, weren't they? They were better to watch.
Yeah, but when it came to push came to shove, they reverted. And I would suggest that there's a good chance that might happen again. There's no doubt he'll probably want to play the way they did the first part of the season. But when things change and things are not quite going smoothly, then you kind of tend to revert back to type. So that's probably what he'll do.
Frank?
On Arteta's defense, I would say that it happened and it works at the beginning of the season because Saka and Odegaard were on fire on the right side. And as soon as Odegaard, I think, went down physically, Saka got injured, maybe Arteta had to change his mind and the tactic because he didn't have the player that he needed to be more offensive. So maybe that's the reason why he changed his mind, and maybe that's a hope for this season if Saka is at his top and the rest of the team follows.
Frank, start, bench or drop these legendary French forwards in their prime. Benzema, Henry, Jean-Pierre Papin.
I will start Karim Benzema. I think Karim Benzema had everything. Maybe not the pace of Thierry Henry, but he had everything. Tactically, technically, he was very clever. And what he did for Real Madrid with Ronaldo, and after Ronaldo left, that was simply amazing. So we start here, and oh my God, I will bench Thierry Henry. And I will drop Jean-Pierre. Jean-Pierre was a great finisher, but wasn't influential in the game. He was just there to finish. He was a great captain, great guy. I love him. And he improved so much coming from Bruges to Marseille, where at first he was shooting everywhere, became one of the best guys, got the Ballon d'Or, of course, for those who are interested about that. Played for Bayern Munich at the end of his career. He was a great guy, but comparing to the two others, that was for me, different level.
100%.
Are you happy with that? Benzema, Henry?
Yeah, Papin was just a goal scorer. Just the best goal scorer at the time, but
Yes.
a goal scorer.
It's the Super Cup this week, Stevie.
Oh, fantastic.
Who's playing in it?
PSG.
Yes. I had to look it up as well. I couldn't remember. Look at this face.
Yeah.
The Europa League winners, right?
Yes, exactly.
Don't know, can't remember. Who won the Europa League?
Aston Villa.
Aston Villa.
Aston Villa is who they are playing. Is there a big fuss about this in France, Frank?
Excuse me, I didn't hear what you said.
It's okay.
Didn't
It's all right. I think that pretty much sums it up.
That's okay.
I'm just checking when the game is. Is
Go
it
ahead.
tomorrow? Or is it? Oh, yes, it is tomorrow. There we go. Can anyone guess where it is?
Saudi Arabia?
No, I know.
No, not Saudi Arabia, no.
China? Somewhere in Asia?
No. It's in Austria.
Turkey.
Austria?
Austria, yes.
Oh, Austria.
There we are.
Yeah, that's a strange one.
There you go. How important is it?
Only if you win it.
Right. Yeah.
Only if you win it.
Is it more important for Aston Villa because they don't have many opportunities
Yeah,
to win
you're
this?
probably right, yeah.
Yeah?
Yes. Yeah, you're probably right with that, but
Yeah.
for PSG, yeah.
Frank, thoughts?
Well, it was important for me when I won it against Real Madrid with
there it
Chelsea.
is.
Yeah. So that was very important. You know, you play against the winner of the Champions League, Real Madrid, in Monaco. That was great, you know, and we won 1-0. So that was very important for me, especially straight after the World Cup because it's a 98. So that was a great game to play. But yeah, it lost a little bit of this sparkle, let's say. And people they changed their mindset about those Super Cup. It's
Never
more
had any sparkle.
No, you didn't have any sparkle.
a money thing.
No.
Yeah, a little bit.
Never
a
had
little
any
bit.
sparkle,
A
Frank.
little bit.
Stevie,
Okay.
which of these
Well,
100...
you should have seen Chelsea. You should have seen Chelsea against Real Madrid, full of sparkle. When I hit the post, that was sparkle.
Well, maybe you were on, if you were on 50 grand a man bonus, it might have a bit more sparkle.
Stevie, which of these 100 million buys has the highest probability of ending up as a legend in their respective clubs? Morgan Rogers, Yann Diomande, or Elliot Anderson?
Ooh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Whoa. Phew.
I mean, Diomande, if he if he reaches what he looks as though he's capable of, then because he's playing for Real Madrid, I think straight away that gives you more of a name, no question, 100%.
Okay, Diamande?
Yeah, I would go with Diamande.
Frank?
The problem is I don't know if Diamande is going to play. That's the problem with Real Madrid.
Play,
you know?
you can't spend over 100 million,
Yeah.
even if you're Real Madrid. He's got to play.
You've got to have MD else on the right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, so far from what I've seen, Morgan Rogers showed sometimes skills that I rarely seen. I've rarely seen, and it's why I'm going to put Morgan Rogers right now on top of Yan Diomande, because we didn't see too much of Diomande because he's very young.
For Frank, how long does it take for players to get back to the flow at the start of a new season, or does it happen naturally?
Well, the thing is, most players, when they're professional, they start running before starting with the new season with their club. And it's what I was doing, like for 15 days before I was running, getting my cardio back. But when you play games, you need to play friendly games, because it's where you can calculate your lack of fitness and sharpness, and it goes as much as you play games and you feel that you have all the feelings are coming back. But it takes like almost like 10 days before the beginning of the season. So let's say if you have a normal preparation, a month to get back.
How does a coach know if a player's ready or not?
Well, it used to be the coach used to do it by his eyes, basically. Not anymore. I mean, now.
Yeah, it's the red zone.
Now there's all these calculations, and they've all got the packs on and the heart monitor. I mean, so it's all scientific now.
Okay.
But basically, it was the experience of the coach's eye, and judging on what they've done previously to what they're doing now, and if they weren't doing the same, then they had to do more. Or it was all in the coach's brain.
One last thing, disappointing news for both of you, in case you didn't see Extra Time yesterday. Everyone was asked who would be their two housemates they would live with on the ESPN FC panel. Neither of you were chosen for specific reasons. Your hygiene was questioned, Stevie.
Right. I can't really argue with my track record.
And Frank...
The two what? The two what, elf?
So did you call me an elf?
No, I'm listening to you. Go.
So who would be their two housemates? So neither of you were chosen. Stevie was dismissed because of his hygiene. You were dismissed because you would talk too much.
Oh, okay.
It's hard to argue those two things.
Yeah. Yeah.
You, because you cannot be serious, so I'm not picking you as well.
Okay.
So I would say, Ali and Craig. That would be fun.
That would be a very nice reality show. I think that would be lovely. Imagine that.
There's only one double bed.
Who would you have, Stevie?
Who would I have?
Yeah. I think Shaka's a given, isn't he? Shaka's an absolute given.
Who would it be?
I lived with Kay before, so I bet the devil you know. I'd have Kay and Shaka, I think. Ali, a bit on the edge. Robbo, always on the edge, very much.
I think Kay would keep...
Maka would be good.
Maka would be good, yeah, definitely, actually. Maka would be all right.
Aye.
Yeah.
Yeah, Maka and Kay.
Maka and Kay?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good mix.
Yeah, because Kay's really sensible. She would keep us in line.
Right.
But she also likes a laugh and a night out.
Yep.
So yeah, Maka, me and Kay. Yeah.
There you are. And Frank, Ali and Craig.
I'm sure there's another house they're building down the road.
That is it. Thank you very much. ESPN FC returns to your screens tomorrow as we'll be reflecting on that big game in Austria as PSG take on
Villa.
Yes, there you go.